F the D word. Forget diets. I'd like to talk to you today about food addiction. And how do you know if you're a food addict? Are you overweight? Unless there is some underlying medical condition, that pretty much says it all. My food addiction started in the 70s. I started smoking pot and fell a victim of the munchies. If you know what I mean, you've probably been there. I munched my way to 246 pounds. I realized that it had become an addiction, not the pot. For me, that's easy to control. I had become a person who had no control over what or when I ate. Am I an expert? No. I'm not a decreed professional, but I am an aficionado of the neurosciences, the study of human behavior. In my opinion, food is the worst addiction. It's the only one you can't go cold turkey with. You must face it 3 times a day, at least. Addicted to food? Was that even possible? According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, addict, to surrender oneself to something habitually or excessively. One who is addicted to a substance. That substance could be sugar, cocaine, oxy, cigarettes, weed, gambling, smoking, shopping, alcohol. You get the picture. I actually was addicted to the act of eating. According to research I heard 25 years ago, when an addict sees its fix, whatever it may be, your brain starts shooting dopamine, endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin, and other neurochemicals that ignite the pleasure centers. It goes from liking to wanting to having. I have seen more than a few people who have had the surgery. All of them started to slowly put the weight back on. Nothing has changed inside. I have spent decades studying human whys and why nots. Now I find that the neurosciences have been working on it too. What they have found is that, like your body, your brain gets weaker, less in charge if you're not giving it a workout. You are the caretaker of your brain. What I'm sharing with you came from some of the most brilliant minds of men of science, including Dr. Michael Merzenich and Dr. Philip Doyen. It is the science of neuroplasticity. Please look it up. With neuroplasticity, you have the ability to create new pathways to the brain. While you're there, look up neurogenesis, the birth of new neurons, one of the critical ways in which the brain changes its structure. Picture a tree growing, and as it's maturing, it branches out of the limbs. Your brain is like that also. The difference is that thoughts can restructure themselves. You're coming in the back door of your brain and reprogramming it. One of the critical ways in which the brain changes itself. No matter how old you are, you can improve your brain. This is not metaphysical, and the journey is like a leap of faith, like learning to play a musical instrument or a keyboard. Keep doing it and the brain will take over. No need to address at this point what you should or shouldn't be eating. Who on the planet doesn't know what they should be doing food-wise? When I was in the munchie mentality, I might not even be tasting what I'm putting into my mouth. I'm just shoving it in. So now that I realize what I was dealing with, how to start fixing it, you need to put science into the equation. Our brain then becomes wired with new information. Well, that's something even I could do. This has nothing to do with denying yourself. You've failed that one many times in the past. You have a new future, a new paradigm. You're not doing this to diet, you're doing it to heal. I saw a special on PBS that related to a study on taxi drivers versus bus drivers in the UK. They found that the taxi drivers had a much higher capacity for learning than bus drivers. Think about it. Bus drivers pretty much do the same route every day. where a taxi driver might have to do a different route every hour or so, and rarely the same one. The same show also related to the account of a doctor who had a massive stroke. It left him virtually incapacitated. His son, who also was a neurologist, encouraged him to try to relearn what he had lost. Not only did he take it on, but eventually was able to go back to work. When he did die, the coroner called his son and asked him to come in and see the results of the autopsy. As you can imagine, he was mystified. That seems a little weird, he would ask that of me. He couldn't believe what he was witnessing. The part of the brain that had been damaged by the stroke was blackened. The rest of the brain had completely regrown. The science of neuroplasticity. So, what is this miracle that's going to get you out of the vicious cycle? It is nothing you haven't possessed all along. It's you. You are the one who is going to do this. Don't burden yourself with expectations. Take this journey alone. You can do this. You are a fully equipped biocomputer. Pay attention to what you're saying. This is the trip only you can do for you. You don't need a group. You need you and only you, completely on board. You can never stop. Old habits have a way of creeping in. According to Shad Helmstadter, for any personal growth concept to be successful, has to be simple, it has to be easy, has to be easy to put into practice, and it has to work. Imagine the freedom of not having to control yourself anymore. You really just don't want it. According to Dr. Amen, get your brain right and your mind will follow. Don't just take my word. Use today's oracle, the net. Get as much knowledge and as many opinions you need to make it right for you. The fields of our mind extend far beyond our physical brains. Remember all those years when you had to deny yourself, only to binge on whatever it was eventually? That's over. Food input is just not the same anymore. You have slayed the dragon. I don't deprive myself. If I want it, I will get it. The difference is that the child in me was not denied, but in control without even thinking about it. I will have a small block of chocolate or a piece of lemon meringue pie, and then give the rest to someone. Really, I don't want it. Seems too simple? It is that easy. You can do this. What have you got to lose? How to start? By repeating your mantra. A mantra or sound repeated to aid concentration. Do this several times a day. A mantra must always be spoken in the positive. Pay attention to what you're saying. You can't say, I don't want. Your brain's just going to laugh at you. You must plant a positive suggestion, such as small amounts of food completely fill me up. I eat small amounts of food and I'm completely satisfied. Don't rush it. It may take weeks or months to kick in. A small amount of food completely fills me up. All of a sudden you realize you've had enough. It just happens. A small amount of food completely satisfies me. This is not a diet. It's a way of life. You don't have to think about it. It's like mental weightlifting. Don't think of this when you're at the table. That could be counterproductive. Small amounts of food completely fill me up. I do it in the morning and the evening and sometimes during the day, whenever I think of it. No matter how old you are, you can improve your brain. So far, I'm down 70 pounds and it didn't hurt a bit. Don't overthink this. Just do it. You are the captain of your ship. On this whole planet, the universe, and whatever else there might be, you are the only you. So, who is more qualified to do this for you? Small amounts of food completely fill me up. Small amounts of food completely fill me up. I eat a small amount of food and I'm completely satisfied. Good luck.